عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Our dear viewer of Salam TV, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Once again, this is the Alhidaayah show where we appreciate Islam and science. I am Alkan Mayanja, your host as always. Today is 2nd March 2026, which corresponds with the 13th of Ramadan, 1447 of the sacred and very important month of Ramadan. Today we are going to appreciate the scientific importance of fasting. Our dear viewer of Salam TV who is fasting this holy month of Ramadan, what do you gain when you fast? That is scientifically. We should appreciate why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed to us this ni'mah of fasting. And alhamdulillah, today in studio we are going to have a special guest who is not the usual one, and this is a medical scientist from Makerere University who is going to take us through this scientific importance of fasting. The guest today we have is none other than Mr. Nuhu Kayua, who is going to take us through this importance. Mr. Nuhu Kayua, could you please say salam to our dear viewers of Salam TV and at least a word or two as introductory, inshallah. You're most welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much. All praises and thanks for Allah Azza wa Jal, the one who has enabled us to be amongst those ones who are alive. And we have a chance to add on our good deeds and have also a chance to seek for pardon from our shortcomings. I thank the Muslims and who have endeavored to see that they are fasting this holy month of Ramadan. And I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal to reward us abundantly, as He promised us that fasting is for Him to reward. So I pray to Him to accept from us in all our endeavors within Rahman.
Mr. Kayua Nuhu, you're most welcome. Here at the Alhidaayah show, we always appreciate Islam and science. And today you're taking us through this name of the scientific importance. Our dear viewer who has fasted from day 1 of Ramadan, and today, alhamdulillah, as is cross-checking, we completed the first 10 days. We are into this now second 10 days of Ramadan. What are the importance that this viewer of ours would appreciate that, alhamdulillah, I am fasting at the end of it all? Besides the good deeds that I'm going to add on my weighing scale, but again, even my body somewhere somehow is gaining. What are those of some of those importance that you would like to tell our dear viewer of Salam TV who is there?
Barakallahu fikum.
No.
To start with, as Allah Jalla wa Ala tells us in the Holy Quran, that fasting is prescribed upon you as it was prescribed to those who came before you. So meaning, it is not something that has just started on this generation of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So even people that came in generations that came before that of the Prophet also used to fast. And someone would wonder, why would the Almighty put so much focus on fasting? Because of the things we are going to look at. Now today we are going to mainly focus on the scientific part on why fasting is important. Allah tells us in the Holy Quran that وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَقْرَأُوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌّ لَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. That perhaps you may like something, and it is not that something that you like is not good for you, or perhaps you may hate something, and that something that you like, that you hate is the best thing for you. What do I mean? Fasting is not is a ibadah, as all of us know.
Yes, because you refrain from a lot of things.
Exactly. So you have food in your fridge, you have food in your saucepan, but because of Allah's command, you refrain from eating that food. You restrain yourself from eating that food. In other words, you are fighting your own desires for the sake of Allah. So, one of the benefits of fasting is medically. So, one of the benefits medically is it promotes blood sugar management by reducing insulin resistance.
When you say blood sugar and then you say insulin, what is insulin in this case?
Okay.
For our dear viewer, in simple terms, because insulin is more of a medical term.
Yes.
Our dear viewer would like to appreciate what is insulin and what does it do in the body now.
Okay.
In this
So,
case.
the body uses different kinds of ways to communicate to the different parts. You know, the body is made up of different parts.
Oh.
So, yes, so it uses different methods to communicate.
Yes.
One of the methods is that it uses electricity to communicate, to send signals to the different parts of the body. Another method is it uses chemicals to communicate to the different parts of the body. So, to instruct those different parts on what they are supposed to do as per the functioning of the body is concerned. Now, those chemicals are what we call hormones. So, insulin is one of those hormones or one of those chemicals that the body uses to signal other parts of the body in as far as functioning is concerned.
Mashallah.
So, insulin, its role, as I said, it is a chemical or a hormone. Its role is to make the cells, the remaining cells of the body, to take up the glucose. After a meal, there are nutrients that you get from the food that you eat. Some of the nutrients, we have carbohydrates, we have proteins.
From this food that I've eaten?
Yes. So when it goes into the system, the system removes the important nutrients or the important components which we call the nutrients. And these nutrients are those ones that I've been mentioning: proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, and others. So basically, the carbohydrates are made up of glucose that I've been talking about, which is the energy giving food. That's why even in primary sections they say energy giving foods are carbohydrates, because they are made up of these glucose, which can be broken down to give energy. So
what can be some of these carbohydrates? Because when you say carbohydrates, it seems it is a class, because you've said there are carbohydrates, there are proteins, and then there are others. So what are some of these carbohydrates for our dear viewer to appreciate that when I eat this, it will be turned into glucose, and then that glucose will be kept in my body as you've explained it to us. So our dear viewer would like to appreciate what are some of the examples of the foods that do contain carbohydrate, as you mentioned earlier.
Okay. I will start with the most common example of food that we usually eat. Rice. Rice is one of wali is one of the foods that contain carbohydrates. Then we have also posho. Some people like posho. Recently I heard one of the sheikhs talking about that posho, that he likes it so much. Then basically those are the examples that I will give, because they are the most common, that even a layman can be able to get.
Yes, everyone has eaten, or everyone takes.
Everyone has tasted either a rice or posho. So when you eat those carbohydrates, under normal circumstances, when you are not fasting, remember we have a very limited time between meals. So usually they say breakfast, there is a few hours, you go for lunch, a few hours, there's some people even take evening tea, then a few hours they go for supper. So within those meals, you get glucose into your blood. So when glucose remains very high, it is exposing you to getting what diseases like diabetes. So Diabetes is what people usually call sukari, nowadays sukari. So that is diabetes. And when you overeat those foods, you expose yourself to always high levels of glucose into your blood. So you put yourself at a risk of getting diabetes. So when you fast and you reduce the meals you are taking in, you reduce the glucose that you are always taking in. That's the first advantage. That when you reduce the glucose, you are reducing the risk of you getting diabetes. Then this point ended with insulin resistance. So when you have increased glucose into your bloodstream, what happens is the body, when the body notices increased glucose into the bloodstream, it stimulates the release. Stimulating, I mean, it initiates the release of the hormone I talked about, insulin. So the role of insulin is to make the body cells, to make other cells of the body to remove that insulin from blood. So in other words, its role is to reduce glucose that is within your bloodstream. So that is its role. So whenever you eat, as I've said, some people eat 5 meals, some people eat 3 meals, and others eat depending on the social status. So it varies with the number of meals that you eat. So when you eat and always your blood glucose levels are high, meaning the levels of insulin within your blood, it will be high all the time. What does it do? When insulin is very high within your blood because of eating and having very limited intervals, it makes the cells of the body that take up that glucose, because for them they have what we call receptors. Receptors are those molecules. They are biological molecules that are found on top of the cells, and the coming chemicals or the hormones that can bind to those receptors, and these cells can initiate the response.
To know that please taking this glucose, it is becoming a lot in my blood.
Exactly.
MashaAllah.
So if insulin is always high, what the cells do, they will, in science we call it down regulation. They will down regulate. Down regulation, I mean, they reduce the number of insulin receptors that are located on the surface of the cell, because for them, in their mind, they think that insulin is always abundant within the blood. So it is necessary for me to reduce the receptors, because even if I leave a few receptors, there will be enough. So that's down regulation. So meaning the amount of insulin that was required to produce a biological effect will now be increased because you are overeating. So that's one of the advantages that we get. So when you fast, you are reducing those. You are reducing the first of all the insulin levels, because blood glucose will be low, as I explained earlier. Then when insulin resistance reduced, on top of that, blood glucose is low. In other words, if a Muslim was, for example, pre-diabetic or was turning towards getting diabetes, within by the completion of these days of Ramadan, you will have Allah Jalla wa Ala will have enabled you to get away with that risk of getting diabetes.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, that is the first one. The second one that I can talk about, and by the way, before you go for the second one, allow me to inform you that in science, we consider fasting in different types.
Yes.
Now the fasting that we
because
have,
I had a meme, I saw a meme and someone was like, me, I'm tired of fasting during the, how is it when I chip in and I be fasting during the night? I don't know. So maybe if scientifically for you, you can go for that, but Islamically, that is not prescribed like that.
Okay.
We fast during the day.
So scientifically, there is what we call continuous fasting. There is what we call intermittent fasting. Now, the fasting that Muslims have during the month of Ramadan.
No.
We call it intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, this is when we have an eating pattern that cycles between periods of eating and voluntary fasting. So you eat, there's a period of eating, and there's a period of voluntary fasting. So it is a cycle. That's why we call it intermittent fasting. So this one basically focuses on when you eat rather than what you eat. So there are fastings which we look at that focuses on what you eat. For example, fastings where you have a reduced calorie intake. So you can go to a nutritionist or a doctor and tells you reduce your calorie intake.
Yes.
So that is also a fasting type of fasting medically.
I think for our dear viewer, calorie intake, calorie is the energy in food.
Exactly.
For easy interpretation.
Yes.
Mm.
So you reduce that calorie intake. So that is also medically we consider it fasting. We say this person so and so is fasting calories. But this one is this intermittent fasting. It is as I explained, there are cycles of eating and voluntary.
In the morning, I am eating my duck,
Exactly.
pre-dawn, and then in the evening, then in between there during the day, I am not taking in anything, not even water, and then in the late evening, that is around 7 p.m. when the muadhin makes it, then we go for iftar.
Exactly.
So that is what is intermittent
Exactly.
phases.
Exactly.
Phases of fasting and eating.
Yes, and as you have explained it,
Yeah.
so that is the cycle that we follow throughout the holy month of Ramadan. So I wanted to put that one before you we continue to the second one. The second benefit that someone gets from fasting the holy month of Ramadan is that it promotes weight loss. It promotes weight loss. As we know, there is a hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-Muslim qawiyyu khayru wa habbu ila Allah min al-Muslim da'if." So a strong believer or a strong Muslim is liked and is the best in front of Allah than a weak Muslim. So we are going to see how this comes up. But usually when you become obese, when you become too fat, you lose your physical fitness, and this rather results to weakness. You become a weak Muslim. So all of us are working on this dunya to say that we please the Almighty Allah Jalla wa Ala. And weight loss, as I said, as the second benefit that someone gets. I've just talked about insulin. So when insulin, this insulin that we have been talking about, when it reduces in the body, it stimulates or it leads to release of what we call hormone sensitive lipase. Hormone sensitive lipase is also another hormone. Remember I said hormones are chemicals
that send
exactly
information from one body part to the other.
Exactly. And they are produced by different parts of the body. So now this hormone sensitive lipase, it is produced by the adipose tissue. Adipose tissue, I think, how simple should I put it?
Adipose tissue, I think we can refer to the fats under our skin.
Under our skin, yes. So yeah, thank you very much. So that adipose tissue produces what we call hormone sensitive lipase. Now this lipase promotes what we call fat breakdown. Fat breakdown in science we call it lipolysis or lipolysis, depending on the pronunciation. So that is fat breakdown. So whenever you have fat breakdown, you reduce fats first of all from the different parts of the body. For example, the heart. Usually some hearts are clogged with fats. Then you reduce fats from the blood vessels. Blood vessels, those are in simple terms, those are exactly.
You can call them channels that transport our blood.
Exactly.
Either
channels,
the heart or
exactly, or pipes or what, but they transport our blood. Now, this reduction in fat content in the body, in other words, leads to health organs. So someone will have a healthy heart, someone will have health blood vessels, and whenever you have those organs working very well,
yes,
you'll also feel that you are now more physical than
energetic.
what. Yes. Then also, when you're fasting, apart from that, you also reduce the calorie intake. Whenever you have a high calorie intake, this is too much calories. The body converts them to fats. So remember, we've said the other hormone sensitive lipase is reducing fats by promoting lipolysis, and you are not taking in any calories. So the additive effect of those two events is to reduce your weight. And we look at these fats medically in different aspects. For example, we have what you call most people that have visited the hospitals have been told about cholesterol. So cholesterol is carried by certain molecules.
Yes, I hear about cholesterol. I actually had someone telling us that you should not take more than one egg, or you should take two eggs in a day, and not for the whole week, that it has a lot of cholesterol. So all along I didn't know, and maybe for our dear viewer there, we didn't know that even cholesterol is a type of a fat that could be got from food that we eat actually.
So, for example, when you look at the skin, when those of you that take chicken so much, the skin of that chicken, the skin, not the meat. There is a bone, meat, and then the skin. So the skin of that chicken has a high cholesterol content. So cholesterol, it is one. It forms part of the cell membranes. A cell, the building block, has a membrane that surrounds it. So one of the materials that form that membrane is cholesterol. Now, cholesterol is divided into two. There is good cholesterol and also bad cholesterol. And how does cholesterol become good or bad? We are going to see it. So this cholesterol, it is transported in the body from the liver, because the liver synthesizes this cholesterol, to the different parts of the body for, as I said earlier, for cell membrane repair and other functions. Now, when it becomes too much, it crosses the vessel wall, because the blood vessel has a hole where blood passes. It is, in science we call that hole a lumen. So when cholesterol is too much in the body, it crosses and goes into the lumen of the blood vessel. So when it goes into the lumen of the blood vessel, it reduces the diameter of that blood vessel. And meaning, if it does that to more vessels within the body, meaning the heart will have to undergo a high resistance to pump blood towards the different parts of the body. And the more the resistance, the more that peripheral resistance, the total peripheral resistance, due to the deposited cholesterol, someone will in turn further get hypertension, and you go to the hospital, they will measure your blood pressure, and they will say, so and so, you have now hypertension. Hypertension is what usually people call pressure. So
I always hear it more so in the elderly people. Someone say, I know pressure, you have pressure, you have pressure.
Exactly. So that cholesterol from the liver to the peripheral tissues, it is transported by molecules that we call low density lipoproteins, and there is also another carrier or another molecule that carries that cholesterol from the peripheral tissues back to the liver, where it is now converted into bile, and it can be secreted via bile secretions. So that carrier, we call it now high density lipoproteins. So the cholesterol that leaves the liver to the different peripheral tissues is what we call bad cholesterol, LDL, low density lipoproteins. So that is bad cholesterol, because as I explained earlier,
Yes.
it will clog into the blood vessels or clog onto the organs, and when it clogs into the blood vessels, the heart will have to go against a strong resistance, because the diameter of those blood vessels reduced, and someone will in turn get pressure. But during fasting, and there is, as I said, there is reduced insulin levels, so there was a hormone sensitive lipase being secreted from the adipose tissue, and this breaks down those fatty acids and breaks down the triglycerides or the lipids into glycerol and fatty acids. So someone will when they check their blood profile, they will have a reduced or decreased LDL levels within blood.
Yes.
And remember I said low density lipoprotein, that is the bad cholesterol, so it will reduce, and they will have increased HDL, which is high density lipoproteins, and that is the good cholesterol. So that is another benefit that those people that are fasting the month of Ramadan will be able to get. Then another benefit that someone who's fasting the month of Ramadan is able to get is, of course, as I've been explaining, is that it increases your cardiovascular health, or the benefits that come with your heart and the circulatory system. Medically, we call it a circulatory system.
What is the circulatory system? I know we covered it in the previous episodes of this Alhidaayah show, but some of the viewers might not have got the chance to witness this. What is this circulatory system?
So the circulatory system,
yes,
you know, the body is made up of different systems. These are organs working together to achieve a common function. So the circulatory system, these are organs, for example, the heart and the blood vessels.
Oh, mashallah.
Yes. So and you can add on the lymphatic system, for example, because it also circulates. So this circulatory system transports blood. Blood moves from your heart, goes to the lungs, picks the oxygen that the tissues use to carry out their daily functions or their normal functions. Yes. So when it comes from the lungs, it comes back to the heart. Now the heart uses a strong force to push that blood towards the remaining parts of the body. Imagine blood is coming from your heart right here, and it has to reach as far as your legs, your tip of your leg. So meaning the heart uses a very strong force. Yes.
I think from that picture, what can our dear viewer pick? I think what is that first and foremost, because someone might see something being projected and is wondering what is this.
Yes. So that is the heart, and the front part of it has been dissected, or it has been removed. So where you see blue, that's where deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood passes the first blue that you see, which is the superior vena cava. That's the blood that is returning from the tissues. The blood that has been used from the tissues, it returns through the vena cava. So there are two. There's a superior vena cava and an inferior vena cava. So it comes into the right atrium and goes into the right ventricle down. So from the right atrium, you can see a tricuspid valve and goes into the right ventricle. So from there, it goes through another blue vessel that you see, which are divided into two. So that blue vessel, that is a pulmonary trunk. So the pulmonary trunk further divides into two to give us the pulmonary arteries. So the pulmonary arteries take blood to the lungs.
And now
so
they pick oxygen.
Yes, it picks oxygen and comes back from the red pulmonary veins. So the pulmonary veins pour it into the left atrium, then it goes into the left ventricle, and there is a strong force that is used, and it is pumped into the truncus arteriosus and then the aorta. So,
so meaning all those processes that you have talked about, blood comes in from the superior vena cava from these other body parts, then it goes to the lungs to pick oxygen, it comes back now to the left atrium, then it's pushed now through the aorta to the other body organs. So all this takes place with that sound I hear as the heart is pumping to all these processes take place in that 1 second, all those few seconds.
Exactly. So that's
Barakallah.
one of the things that shows that Allah Jalla wa Ala is the most wise. And whenever you say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, that's all praises in their full praises, in their full form, belong to Allah Azza wa Jalla. So within a few seconds, around 12 seconds, your heart has done all those processes we have talked about. So it will pump to the remaining parts of the body for use, and that's how you can be able to maybe kick, maybe run, maybe carry some food for iftari and other things. So that's the circulatory system, and there's what we call blood pressure in the circulatory system. Blood pressure is one of the signs. In medically, we refer to it as one of those vital signs. So those of us that have ever visited the hospital, we've seen doctors or attending medical personnel coming to us, and they are like, let me take your blood pressure. So blood pressure can tell us very many things from your body, even before we touch you, even before we talk to you. Other things which we pick as vital signs, we have temperature. Other things which we pick as vital signs, we have SpO2, which is saturation of oxygen, partial pressure, saturation of oxygen. So blood pressure is one of them. So blood pressure is mainly influenced by two factors, and that is cardiac output, which is how the heart pumps, and from the illustration that we had for the heart, you saw the different walls, all the different segments of the heart, and the left ventricle, where the most of the force that pumps blood throughout the whole body is. It is a bit bigger compared to the right ventricle, because the right ventricle just pumps here to the lungs, and the left ventricle pumps to the whole body. So it's a bit slightly bigger.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Nuh Kaiwa. We appreciate this knowledge. May the Almighty Allah reward you abundantly. Now, dear viewers of Salam TV, we always appreciate you for getting that pen and a book to note down these important scientific aspects, that at the end of it all, we appreciate the ni'mah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon us. So fasting in its existence, it is good for us. From what we have experienced in the first session, the doctor has informed us about the reduction in fat content, that is the bad cholesterol or the low density lipoproteins, and has also told us about the improvement in our circulatory system, where we are going to now reduce our body weight and a lot of other issues. Before we go in for a short break, we would like to thank Allah for the ni'mah of life, because some of our brothers have not been able to fast. My very sister, Jamila Nakabuye, she's back from school just like that. She got sickness and she's not fasting. So you understand that we should thank Allah for the ni'mah that we've been bestowed upon to be among those who are witnessing this Ramadan of 1447 on the Hijriya calendar. We are going in for a short break, and we shall begin from there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Indomie Instant Noodles is available in 3 flavors of chicken, beef, and vegetable. Buy your Indomie Instant Noodles in supermarkets and dukas near you anywhere across Uganda. Indomie Instant Noodles, Uganda's best loved noodles.
Maria, I'm going to make the mandazi you like today. This is my wife Maria's recipe.
Maria! Maria, we've got the loan! We've got the loan!
But tell me, what's the secret to your success?
Maria is my inspiration. Everything that I do is to make Maria proud.
Tony Magomu yawangudde school fees
mwaka mulamba obekitegeeza bwekyo
1 year of school fees. What is the school?
Viva College School.
When I received the call, it took me a moment to believe the story. I said I could wait until today.
Yes.
When I received the second call is when I believed. But I think I was lucky.
Oh.
Sure.
Can we talk to the student? How do you feel? Oh, we don't hear.
Yeah, I feel blessed.
Star 165 star 80 hash is the magic code. Enter the student's number. So start right now. And you could be a winner.
byolina okukola obeere steady. Kebera ku akawunti yo eya bank omanyi oba nga waliwo abaggyeko ssente zo sinakindi okugikozesa okugula ebitali bibyo. Weekengera ekintu kyonna tegeeza banka yo mu bwangu ddala.
In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission and NBS. At Salam Charity, we believe every soul deserves a path with bright guidance. Through our Crown project, we are not just placing into someone's hands. We're gifting hope, nurturing faith and abilities. By donating just 1,000 Uganda shillings every week, you help on in the hands of those who long for it. Imagine the abundant reward. Every letter recited, every verse understood, every heart calmed, and every life transformed.
قالوا معذرة إلى رب لعلهم يتقون.
Support the Quran Project or send your donations to 0776 527 2. Salam Charity Foundation, changing lives for the better.
Tukwaniriza ku World Navy Uganda. Bano ddala abeesigika mu mmotoka. Tutuuse mmotoka okuva e Japan, e Thailand n'ewalala wangi. Jangu weerolere mu mmotoka mu bika byonna. Oyagala vaani, oyagala trucks oba SUVs zonna tuzirina. Era ng'okusasula tutandikira ku bitundu 3 ku buli 100. Tukyalireko ku ofiisi zaffe ku Forest Mall e Rukuku oba tukubire ku ssimu noti 7 noti 9 256 816. World Navy Uganda katukutuusize emmotoka yo ey'ekirooto kyo.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our dear viewer of Salam TV will be back from that short break in this sacred and blessed month of Ramadan of the year of 1447 of the Hijriya calendar. That is after the migration of the seal of messengers, that is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You see, when I even speak about him, a smile wears my face just automatically. So may peace and salutations be upon the seal of prophets, that is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is the Alhidaayah show on your Salam TV, where we appreciate Islam and science. And today we are appreciating the importance, or the scientific importance of fasting. When you do fast as a believer, we know you gain the good deeds, but then which makes your weighing scale heavier. But now, directly, scientifically, what did you gain? Your body. That is why we have a medical scientist by the names of Kaiwan Nohu in the studio to tell us more. What do I gain when I do fasting? Before we even start the next session, I would like to appreciate and congratulate the graduates of Makeda of the 76th graduation that happened in the previous week. They included a lot of my friends and brothers, but one of them who had a very exciting experience, that was Yunus Rubega. Yunus Rubega did a course of Bachelor of Architecture for 10 years. So it taught me a lot. It gave me a lesson, and to everyone who is viewing us on Salam TV, that everything that we start, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a plan for us, and that plan is always the best. So you see that we are all now happy for our brother Yunus for concluding this degree at this moment. So in the world of science, we are appreciating you, our brother Yunus Ulubega. Mr. Nuhu, as we start our next session, previously you told us about the importance of fasting, and you told us the way it improves our circulatory system, and a lot that you said. Then you talked about reduction in the fat content. Therein it goes in to balance our body weight, and we become the al-Muslim qawi from, again, the hadith that you told us, because you told us from an authentic hadith that al-Muslim qawiyu khayru wa habbu ila Allah min al-Muslim da'if. So we become, at the end of it all, you told us that we become among the al-Muslim qawiyu that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciates. Of course, then we be able to fast, to do other ibadats. That is, we are able to fast with a lot of ease because we are physically fit. Yes, Dr. No, you're most welcome. Well, could you please tell us more of these importances of fasting scientifically to you as a medical scientist?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
To continue with the medical benefits that someone gets from fasting.
Yes.
Before I even continue, there is to show you that Allah Azza wa Jalla only wishes us good, but we just don't know, or we are just lazy to practice. There is a research that was carried out in 2022 in China by students in the Qingdao University, and their medical college. There is a department called Special Medicine Department. So these people carried out some research, and what was the research about? It was about intermittent fasting versus continuous controlled calorie intake, or continuous restricted calorie intake. So these people, when they were when they were carrying out that research, the research was all about weight loss. Which of those two? Is it intermittent fasting or continuous calorie restriction that promotes better weight loss? In their
so by this you mean, doctor, you said you talked about two terms here.
Yes.
You talked about intermittent fasting, and then you talked about controlled intake. That is where I have the doctor as, or a nutritionist as prescribed for me that you're taking this amount of food, you're taking this amount of food, and then the effect of intermittent fasting that we are witnessing in Ramadan. So those are the two sides that they were comparing.
Yes.
Which one is more effective in
weight loss?
Yes. MashaAllah. What were the results?
So they found out after their methods that they used, after their tests that they carried out. In other words, it was concluded from that research that intermittent fasting was providing better results in terms of weight loss than continuous calorie restriction. So, and the kind of fasting that we are fasting, as we said earlier, it is intermittent fasting. So you can see that even if you want to reduce weight, you want to reduce weight without even striving that much. You just have to obey whatever that Allah Jalla wa Ala told you to practice.
Because from this picture here, I can see
yes,
this man before, or when he was taking a lot of food continuously without fasting.
Exactly.
And then this other one on the left, on the right, he had what had happened there.
So when you fast, like how you can see that man, when you fast, you are able to reduce all those fasts that he had accumulated with the continuous episodes of eating. The following of the timetable for eating as 5 meals a day.
Yes.
So you accumulate the fats. But when you fast, as we said earlier, as we explained earlier, you go on to reduce all those fats, and you gain back your normal flexible shape. So that is the man after him practicing the intermittent fasting. So when those students concluded that intermittent fasting is better than continuous calorie restriction, this is evidence, that was evidence that Allah Jalla wa Ala only wishes us good rather than the bad that we think that fasting is not good. No.
And some people even start faking sickness by the way.
Exactly. So people start getting ulcers within this period. People start getting different kind of diseases. They start telling you how they have been swallowing tablets every day. We are not saying that those people are not there, but we are saying that the Almighty is seeing. People are not fasting simply because they are sick, and it is true they are sick. But because of them being sick, others are using the same excuse to disobey the Almighty. And remember, from the ayah that was instructing us to fast, Allah told the prophets that Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when the ayah was being revealed, that I have prescribed, meaning you are just disobeying. It was already written for us to fast. It is a must for you to fast when you are okay. Not to fake
that it is even a pillar of Islam.
Exactly.
Of deen.
Yes, one of the 5 pillars of the Islam. Then to continue with the benefits, fasting. There was also another kind of research that was done, and it was done among critically ill patients also in 2022. And it was found that in medicine or in science, there is what we call inflammation. Inflammation is a process by which your body responds to, let me say, injury or attack from microorganisms or invading organisms. Now, what the body does, it uses your defense system, or what we call the immune system, and responds to the injury. Let me say you've gotten an accident and blood is oozing out. So the body, the mechanisms or the processes that occur for the body to stop that leakage, or for the body to contain that invading organism, it will end up by a process, it will start and end up by a process called inflammation. So when we are in hospital or in science, this side, we can determine whether someone is undergoing inflammation or not by using what we call inflammatory markers. And these inflammatory markers, we have one of them is what we call the C reactive protein. So it is one of the markers that are usually used in the hospital to determine whether someone is undergoing inflammation or not. So when this research was carried out in 2022, it was seen that when you are fasting, there is a reduced number of, or a reduced amount of C-reactive protein within your body. And I've put it that way to first have your minds at work, because I've said earlier that inflammation is a protective mechanism, and now I'm saying that this inflammatory marker reduces when you fast. Now, inflammation is divided into two. There is the acute. Acute is what we mean by acute is it is sudden. As soon as you get invasion or an injury, it happens and protects your body. That is a good inflammation. But there is also another type of inflammation which is chronic. Chronic means it is recurrent, it has been ongoing for long. So this chronic inflammation is dangerous now towards your body, towards your systems. So chronic inflammation can lead to diseases like rheumatoid arthritis. People have heard of such diseases. So chronic pancreatitis, chronic kidney injury, chronic cardiac injury. So such type of diseases come as a result of chronic inflammation. So when you are
chronic inflammation can be prolonged when it is happening every now and then.
Exactly.
And it's not healing.
Exactly. So it happens continuously within your body, and instead of helping, it now further damages. Usually people say too much of anything is always bad. So when inflammation also becomes too much or too continuous, it ends up damaging. So when you are fasting, it also this inflammation, the process also reduces, meaning it reduces your risk of getting some of the diseases that I mentioned, like rheumatoid arthritis, like chronic pancreatitis.
I think how can we just in simple terms, in simple English, rheumatoid arthritis, I think you can call it is always pain in the
joints.
The joints.
Yes. In simple terms, you can refer it as pain in the joints. Then other diseases like chronic pancreatitis, there's what we call a pancreas within the abdomen. It can also undergo chronic inflammation and you get chronic pancreatitis.
Have you ever heard that they can even cut it off?
Exactly.
That cutting, that part in our stomach that keeps stones, I heard of where stones collect from. I don't know how correct it is.
Now that is the appendix. So yes, so we can also have chronic appendicitis. Thank you very much for even bringing it up. So we can also have chronic appendicitis. Yes. So diseases can come because of inflammation, but when you fast, from that research we saw that it was seen that the C-reactive protein reduces, and it is an inflammatory marker. So meaning the inflammation, the processes are reduced, and therefore the risk is also reduced. Then another benefit that a person can get from fasting is what we call a clean, in simple terms, let me say clean intestines, but it is a whole system. We call it the gastrointestinal system, or the GI, or the GIT. So that gastrointestinal system, it is a system where it starts from the mouth and ends from where we release our waste from, or what we call the anus. So that is the gastrointestinal system. It is a very long, system.
Yes.
So when you take in food, it moves from the mouth after chewing, you swallow. It moves down through the esophagus, or this pipe that takes food into the stomach. Then it goes into the stomach. From the stomach, it goes into the small intestines. The small intestines, from the small intestine, it goes into the large intestine. From the large intestines, that's when it can exit the body. So by the time we take in this food and it travels all that distance, some of the residues remain. So when they remain, if you continue eating, meaning the system will continue to harbor more and more residues. So meaning the system will in turn be dirty. However, when you fast, God made it like this GI, after 1 to 2 hours of fasting, there is a hormone that is also released, and this hormone is called motilin hormone. It is released by the small intestines. and it makes the GI to contract. Remember, you're not eating. I said when you are fasting.
Yes.
So it leads to contractions of the GI tract from the esophagus up to down to the anus. So this hormone, that process, we call it the migratory motor complex, which those continuous contractions. So when it contracts, the previously dirty,
the one in yellow.
Yes, the one in yellow. The previously dirty GI. After fasting, because it is contracting and it is a wave-like motion, as I said, it starts from the esophagus up to the anus. It will continue removing or cleaning the system up to the anus, and then you will be able to release all those residues. And it also leads to removing of bacteria, because bacteria also moves as the system is also contracting. So in other words, when you fast, as you can see in green, it's now clean. So your GI system moves from being dirty to being clean. So this is something that I think everyone should be aiming at, and these are the people whom, even if they are in public, it's hard to say that such and such a person is maybe smelling this and this, or maybe if they tend to fat, you can find that
the smell is not toxic.
Even the smell is not so toxic as someone who's just eating continuously. So those are some of the benefits that other people or people that are fasting happen to get. And also, maybe lastly, is as I said initially, that it increases, it reduces insulin levels, and this on top of the other advantages of reduced insulin levels, there is also an advantage of increased insulin sensitivity. In other words, you prevent, someone who is fasting prevents themselves from getting diabetes by increasing insulin resistance. By increasing insulin sensitivity. Yes. Then maybe probably the last one is adolescents who happen to fast. Remember, adolescents still have some parts of their bodies that can grow. You find that when these adolescents are fasting, their parts or the remaining part of their bodies that grows, they will grow to their full maximum, because reduced insulin levels increase growth hormone within the body.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaiwanu, for this once very, very marvelous and important knowledge. Our dear viewer of Salam TV, we always appreciate you, and we appreciate our guest today, a medical scientist, Mr. Nuh Kaiwa, for sparing his time to come and inform us of the goodness that is in fasting, that some of us even actually take for granted by faking sickness and very many other reasons that we give. We know that someone who is fasting is given a waiver from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but again, you might be okay. You're sick because you have a small scar which is itching you. Please continue and fast. Don't look for excuses here and there. Mr. Kaiwa, before we go, I think you can use like this last 1-2 minutes to send greetings to the people that you left home. You send Ramadan Mubarak greetings to people that you left home, and we conclude, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. So Ramadan Mubarak to my grandmother. She stays, grandmother and grandfather, they stay at Makerech Koni. Ramadan Mubarak to my father and mother. They stay, my father is called Mbariwa Yahya.
Mr. Mbariwa Yahya, mashallah.
And my mother, Mbariwa Sharifa, they stay at Nansana. Then I also send greetings to my uncles, my aunts, one of my uncle. We have the same names. My uncle Kaiwa, he stays at Kawempe, and I also send greetings to my aunt Nasimba Joeria, who stays in Matuga. Also send greetings to my aunt Nantumbe Maimuna, who stays in Namugongo. Also send greetings to my uncle, Kayongo Faizo, and I also send greetings and Ramadan Mubarak to my friends at Makerere University that are still pursuing their bachelor's degrees.
The Sajali Society at once.
Yes, at the Society at large.
Nah.
Then my friends in Alhidaayah Foundation.
MashaAllah. Thank you very much. Our dear viewer of Salam TV, we appreciate you for sparing that ample time, that very important time, but you spare something little. People pay for Afromobile, we know. Some of you are watching us live. Mr. Ratib Kasule is watching live from the Afromobile app. With just $2.99 US, you can watch for the stream live for the whole month. And it is not only Salam TV and very many other interesting channels, but more specifically, the Alhidaayah show. Don't miss your Alhidaayah show when you're traveling, you're in here and there. Please just download the Afromobile app, and when you miss the show by chance, please visit the Salam TV YouTube channel. You will be finding these interesting shows. You view, rewind, comment, and then give us feedback for improvement. Today we are not going to proceed a lot from here apart from wishing you and praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us and give us more help to fast this holy month of Ramadan to climax, because today is 13th, meaning we having 17 or even 16 days. Subhanallah. Ayama ma'adudat. The days are very counted. They're very counted. You see that they're moving on a very high speed. Next show, inshallah, if we happen to have life, we shall be remaining with just a few days. So may the Almighty Allah grant us the ease of fasting and give us the blessings and accept our Ramadan. We're not going to proceed from here. I am Alka Mayanja, your host as always. This is the Alhidaayah show where we appreciate Islam and science. May the Almighty Allah is it for us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wherever you are in the world, stay connected to Uganda with Afromobile. Whether you're in Qatar, Abu Dhabi, New York, Cape Town, or beyond, Afromobile brings Uganda to your screen. Watch over 80 live TV and radio channels all in one place. From news and entertainment to sports, music, and exclusive shows. Stream seamlessly for just $2.99 per month. Pay easy with Visa, MasterCard, or Union Pay. Download Afromobile today. byolina okukola obeere steady. Kebera ku akawunti yo eya bank omanye oba nga waliwo abaggyeko ssente zo, sinakindi okugikozesa okugula ebitali bibyo. Weekengera ekintu kyonna, tegeeza banka yo mu bwangu ddala.
In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission and NBS.
Travel tip. Pay close attention to pre-flight safety briefings and show respect to the crew. Inappropriate behavior can compromise the safety and comfort of everyone on board. Familiarize yourself with the safety briefing card to ensure you are prepared in case of emergency. In the unlikely event of an emergency evacuation, it is crucial to follow crew instructions promptly and respectfully.
kituufu umura esoboka ng'otambudde ne Makka Madina Haji Services osobola okutambula olugendo lw'ekirooto kyo n'okola umura ku ssente ensaamusaamu ate ng'osuze bulungi olidde bulungi saako okulambula ebifo byonna eby'enkizo e Makka ne Madina. Makka Madina ekuleetedde umura bonanza ng'osasula miliyoni 3.88 mu mwezi gw'omukaaga nga twakava mu hijja. Makka Madina erina enteekateeka ya umura buli mwezi saako hijja ku miwendo egisoboka. Mu Kampala offices zisangibwa ku Makka Madina Building Butikiro Road ate Mbarara Ikra Building room number F9. Gwayagala okukola umura mu mwezi guno gwa Ramadan wakyaliwo ebifo ebitonotono okumanya ebisingawo. Ye Makka Madina Haji Services ku lw'obuweereza obulungi.
Tony Magomu yawangudde school fees
mwaka mulamba obekitegeeza bwekyo
1 year of school fees. What is the school?
Viva College School.
When I received the call, it took me a moment to believe the story. I said I could wait until today.
Yes.
When I received the second call is when I believed. But I think I was lucky.
Oh.
Sure.
Can we talk to the student? How do you feel? Only not here.
Yeah, I feel blessed.
Star 165 star 80 hash is the magic code. Enter the student's number. So start right now. And you could be a winner.
Hadithi y'olunaku.
Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Amma baada badduba Allah bali abalungi mwenna. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tugenda maaso ne programu yaffe eya hadithi y'olunaku, hadithi ezikwata ku kusiiba omwezi gwa Ramadan. Leero tukugamba nti waliwo ebintu ebitasiibulula naye nga bambi abantu abamu obutamanya bibakaluubirira. Tukugamba leero katutunuulire okwerabira. Omuntu singa aba yeerabidde n'alya oba n'anywa oba n'akola ekintu kyonna ekisiibulula naye nga ddala yeerabidde, okusiiba kwe kulamulwa kutya? Ansa eri mu hadithi ya Abi Hurayra radiyallahu anhu ng'ajja ku mukama waffe Nabbi sallallahu alaihi wasallam ng'agamba nti man nasiya wa huwa saim, nti omuntu yenna yeerabira nga yasiibye fa akala au shariba, n'alya oba n'anywa, falyutimma sawmahu, waddembe asaanira okujjuza okusiiba kwe. Lwaki? Kubanga talina musango, bw'aba ddala yalidde n'anywa nga yeerabidde. Agamba nti fa innama at'amahu Allahu wa saqaahu, Katonda yamuliisizza era yamunywesezza. Allah mu hikima ye ayinza okuba nga yalabye nga wadde yakwagalamu okusiiba, akufunyemu akulabyemu okumutya naye ng'asaana akuliise gwe obadde ate totegeera, n'akwerabiza n'olya oba n'onywa. Agamba nti fa innama at'amahu Allahu wa saqaahu, Katonda yamuliisizza era yamunywesezza. Mpozzi abamanyi abamu bwe baddamu okutunuulira hadithi eno nti fa akala au shariba, nti yeerabidde n'alya oba n'anywa, bagamba nti ekisooka ateerabidde oyo aba alidde mu bugenderevu, alina ekibonerezo ewa Allah. Ne bw'aba nga alimbye, kubanga oli ajjaga nze neerabidde, naye balil insanu ala nafsihi basira walau alqa maadhira. Katonda yakitulekera ekipimo, omuntu yennyini aba amanyi, ne bw'anaafuna excuses mmeka Allah amujajinga okusinga ku ye kyamulabamu. Kati obanga gwogenderedde neffe n'otulaga nti weerabidde, ffe tujja kujajinga okusinziira ku kyotugambye, ne Allah amazima yagalina era yagamanyi. Mpozi ekirala ne boogera nti wadde Nabbi sallallahu alaihi wasallam ayogera ku kulya na kunywa, naye ne bw'oba weerabidde n'okola ekirala nga kisiibulula, era nakyo kiba okusiiba kwo kuba kutuuka. Mpozi mu biki ebirala ebiyinza omuntu okubeera nti akola nga bisiibulula, abamanyi abamu baayogera ku musajja okubeera ne mukyala we emisana, ne bagamba nakyo kiri mu bisiibulula, naye omwami nakyo bw'aba akikoze nga ddala yeerabidde, okusiiba kwe kubeera kutuufu. Wadde ng'abamu baga nti naye okwerabira mu nsonga ezo oluusi ezibeerako n'ebizitandika ddala kisoboka, naye abamanyi abamu ne bagamba nti kituufu kisoboka, kubanga buli muntu wanjawulo. Mulimu olaba abantu abeebaka ne batambula ne mu tulo, n'atambula n'afuluma ne geeti n'akomawo nga tamanyi nti yabadde yeerabidde. Kale okwerabira kusoboka, naddala omuntu nga yeebase. Omuntu ayinza okwebaka oba omwami yeebase n'omukyala ne bazuukuka nga balowooza oba kiro nga beerabidde, ne babeera nga bakola ekikolwa ekyo ekisiibulula. Bwe babeera nga ddala badde beerabidde, nabo tubagatta ku kulya n'okunywa, ne tugamba okusiba kwabwe kusigala kutuufu. Hadha wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim, walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Hadithi y'olunaku. Ekutuusibwako.
Oyagala ntambula mu bwangu, otambula na famire oba ku boda boda, weeyune Faras leero. Faras entambula yo mu mbeera yonna, yeesigika si ya buseere, ate ebeerawo wonna w'ogyetaagira.
Wa idha salaka ibadi anni fa inni qarib ujibu da'wata ad-da'i idha da'an فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. القرآن الكريم سورة البقرة آية 18 الله تتجيزا ngategeeza Nabi Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallama waawo mu kiseera basahaba we bajjira waali ne bamubuuza nti arabbuna qaribun fanunajihi au ba'idun fanunadihi, katonda waffe ali wala tubeere nga tuleekaanira waggulu nga tumusaba, oba ali kumpi tubeere nga twogera bwama. Allah n'amugamba wa idha sa'alaka ibadi, abaddu be bwe babeera babuuza Nabi Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallama nga babuuza ku Allah, fa inni qarib, bagambe nti ye Allah ali kumpi, ujibu da'wata ad-da'i, ayanukula edduwa z'oyo yenna omusabi, idha da'an, bw'abeera nga asabye naye nga waliwo obukwakkulizo obw'edduwa ezo okwanguwa okubeera nga zaanukulwa, falyastajibuli, babeere nga baanukula omulanga Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gw'abakoola, kubeera nga basiiba waggulu eri, kubeera nga basaddaaka, walyuminu bi, ate era bakkiririze mu Allah, la'allahum yarshudun, bajja kufuna obulungamu.
Ebadde kutuusibwako.
Oyagala ntambula mu bwangu, otambula na famire oba ku boda boda, weeyune Faras leero. Faras entambula yo mu mbeera yonna, yeesigika si ya buseere, ate ebeerawo wonna w'ogyetaagira.